and welcome to the 100-Acre Wool Knitting Podcast. I should really be calling this a Fiber Arts podcast at this point, since I like to talk about knitting and spinning and fiber arts and crochet and sometimes sewing and all the things. So I should really be calling this a multi-fiber arts podcast. But anywho, this is a podcast where I like to share with you what I've been working on recently. So I'm also a knitwear designer, so I also show you my process through that, making knitwear designs and patterns, and yeah, just lots of the things that I've been working on recently. And I thought today we would start in a new location. If you're not new around here, then I thought today I would start in a different location than normal. This is my spinning area where I come to spin yarn whenever I want to do that. And I thought, in honor of Tour de Fleece that is happening now, it is starting today. Today is July 1st, I'm filming this. So I thought, in honor of Tour de Fleece, I would start spinning with the podcast, Start Spinning. So welcome, grab something to work on if you have some knitting or crochet or spinning, if you want to spin along with me. Grab something to work on and let's get started. I have quite a few things to share with you. This podcast seems to be turning into a once a month thing, especially since I'm working on more patterns than I have in the past. I'm working on a lot of new designs for knitwear designs, so that definitely takes up more of my time. I don't have as much time to just be knitting, so there's a lot of math and grading involved now, so that takes up more of my time. So it seems like this podcast is turning into kind of a monthly thing, which I think that's okay. But yeah, so I have a lot to share with you today. I have a lot of spinning and works in progress. I also have a finished object to share with you. And yeah, I guess we'll just get started. So I'll have to stop my spinning so I can show you what the finished object is. If you're curious what I'm spinning on, this is an Ashford traditional wheel. It was gifted to me by a lovely viewer of the channel here. And I love this wheel so much. It works great. This is my first wheel. This is the first and only wheel that I have owned. And I am spinning some fiber today. This fiber is from Neighborhood Fiber Co. And it is their Polworth base, I believe. Really nice base. I love working with this. I've worked with it a lot. So I really highly recommend this base if you are a spinner as well. But I'm working on this spin, on this single for a shifty sweater I'm going to be knitting for a friend. So I'm really excited about that project, but it's going to take a long time to knit or to spin all of the yarns. But anywho, let's first get into our first finished object. So if you're not new around here, you might recognize this. I finally finished my Primaveral Sweater cardigan design. And here it is, all blocked and buttons sewn in, and everything is all finished. It's got these really cute little bell sleeves, if you want to call that. They're kind of bowed out, and then they cinch in at the wrists. And in the back, it's just all over really sweet little cables. Maybe you can see the texture there. So yes, this is my Primaveral cardigan. And this took a little bit longer than I was expecting. I really wanted, for the button band and for the kind of the neckline area, I really wanted a little scallopy edge. And I was having a hard time figuring out the method to do that. So I was trying a lot of different techniques that I could think of, just playing around with the yarn and seeing how it would come out. That's kind of my process when I don't know exactly how to do something. It's just a lot of trial and error and going back and forth. So so this was the technique that I finally kind of fell into, kind of decided on, but now I'm not so sure about it. So let me show it up close to you. So hopefully you can get a better idea. And it also changes how it looks when the buttons are on, when the buttons are clasped. But it's kind of these little scallops all the way along the edge. And I'll unbutton it as well so you can see. But it didn't turn out as, I guess, tidy as I would have wanted. yeah, I'm not really sure the best way to do this sort of scallop technique. I've seen it sometimes where the scallops are wider and then the edges scalloped of the kind of ribbing, but I don't know. Maybe you can see the scallops there. I wanted it to be very thin and scallopy, so it was hard for me to figure out a technique that would work with both of those. But so let me know, do you think that the scallop edge is nice? Do you like that? Would you want to knit that into your cardigan? It's picked up at the end, so you could do something entirely different if you wanted to. You could do a regular sort of button band. It's like a flat rib, or maybe a double thickness button band. But I just wanted to try something new for this. I thought it would be sweet, but I'm not sure how I like how it turned out. So let me know in the comments below if you would prefer these sort of scallops, or whether you think I should just rip it out and do sort of a more regular button band, because I do really love the rest of the sweater, and I've tried it on and it's just so cozy and warm, which is another reason why I haven't sent this into test knitting yet. I actually have another project that is more summer appropriate and that will be going into testing first, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, I am really happy with how this project came out. It uses US 6 needles, so in millimeters, I don't actually remember what the millimeters are for that, but US 6 needles, and it's worsted weight yarn. For this particular sample, I used 2 strands of knitted and held together, 2 different colors. And the construction, so it's worked bottom up, flat, because it's a cardigan and there's no steeking. So you work bottom up in the round, or sorry, not in the round, I just said flat. You work bottom up flat, and then you split at the underarm and you do kind of the front panels and then the back panel separately. And then at some point you seam up. There's just one little seam at the shoulder top, a 3 needle bind off. And then for the sleeves, you pick up around the entire armhole, and then you do some short row shaping so that it's kind of a set-in sleeve, just to give a little bit of a sleeve cap there, so it's not just like straight, just some more shaping. And then you pick up the neckline all the way around and do the button band, and then that's it. Oh yes, and the sleeves are worked top down in the round. So those were really easy and quick. And it is very warm, but I am going to be getting it into test knitting in a couple of weeks, so keep an eye out for that. If you would like to test knit, I always do my test knitting calls through my newsletter, which if you're not signed up for that already, you can sign up at the link below this video, in the description below this video. And yeah, let me know what you think about the scalloping, because I'm not entirely sure about it. I think it's cute sometimes, and then other times I'm like, it looks kind of messy. So yeah, I mean, I know everyone can do what they wish with it, but, and before I forget, I will tell you about what I'm wearing today. We are having a heat wave here now, so I am definitely in the summer attire. I think it's about 90 degrees outside, and it's gonna be going back down this week, but it is very hot right now. So I broke out the champagne tank. So this is one of my designs from last year. Just a really comfortable, easy little tank top. It's got some frills at the bottom here, as you can see, and kind of the center front is higher, and then it sort of furls out from there. Kind of a curve shape in the front is how it looks. I'll just stand up so I can show you. So yes, kind of high at the front, and then goes lower on the sides and the back, and then some lovely little eyelets throughout, and it's just a really simple tank top. It's worked bottom up, so you do the ruffles here at the bottom first, kind of a double knit fabric, and then you do the eyelets and things, and then it's pretty much stockinette, easy knitting in the round before you do the triangles at the top and in the back as well. And then there are 2 strap options in the pattern, and you can make little bows here at the top. You can knit the straps longer and then tie little bows here at the top, or you can just do like how mine is, where it's just straight. So that is how it looks, and I'll show you the back as well, so you can see the little triangle there as well, and the ruffles go all the way around. So this is just my go-to tank top in the summer. The yarn that I used is actually my hand-dyed yarn, my own hand-dyed yarn, naturally hand-dyed, and it is in the champagne colorway, named after this tank top because the design and the yarn kind of happened simultaneously, and I just thought it went so well together. So this particular base is alpaca, linen, and silk. So it's really soft, and it actually feels like you're not wearing anything, to be honest. It feels very, very soft and just like skin. It's just like a second layer of skin. And it's really breathable, and yeah, this is definitely not hot for me in the summer, even when it is 90 or 95 degrees outside or whatever it is. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but anyway, I will be having a yarn shop update soon at some point. I am waiting on some shipping materials and things that I need before that happens. It's taking longer than expected, but of course I will update you all through my newsletter and Instagram and such when that will actually be happening. But yeah, so this yarn will be coming again soon. But yeah, you can use any yarn, of course, and yeah. So fingering weight yarn was used for this particular sample, and yeah, so I will link this pattern down below. It's available on Ravelry and Etsy as well, so that will be linked down below if you would like to knit it for the summertime. Really quick and easy. And let's see, next I will talk about the new work in progress that's almost a finished object, but I'm going to be changing some things, so it's not quite yet. This is brand new to you. I have not shown this on the podcast at all yet. I kind of just had this idea and cast it on, and it went extremely quickly. So I already have it almost finished. So this is going to be a t-shirt, and oh my gosh, I'm just so excited about it already. So it's got some beautiful little textures, really easy and fun little textures throughout the bottom of the fabric, and some lace throughout as well. I kind of wanted easy stripes without them being like stripy, because I feel sometimes stripes can be too jarring, at least in my opinion. Like if it's just solid stripes, sometimes it can just be a little too much. So I wanted something a little bit softer but still kind of stripy, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's just some really fun, easy little textures throughout, and then the lacy bits. And it's also a very wide V-neck, so I'll kind of hold it up here for you, and that's kind of how it'll be fitting. So short sleeve, kind of a drop shoulder construction, but it's bottom up in the round, and then you split for the front V-necks and then the back panel as well. So it's all one piece, and then just one seam at the top for the shoulder sleeve, or for the shoulder seam. So yes, I was just about to do the seam at the top, but then I was trying it on and I realized it's not quite how I wanted it. I think the sleeves are a bit too long, and yeah, it's folding in right now. But yeah, I think I knit the sleeves a bit too long. I wanted them a little bit shorter, and also it is not tall enough. So that's just some things that happen when you're designing. I just need to tweak it a little bit. So I'm going to be ripping out this top part and reknitting it, but this is essentially how it's going to look. And then I will be picking up the neckline at the end. And this again was just so quick. I'll show you the back as well. It's on US 9 needles, which I can tell you what millimeter that is. Okay, this is 5.5 millimeter needles. So it just goes super quickly. I think I got the bottom portion, this portion in the round from here down, I think I got that done within, like, if I had been knitting it all in one day, I think I could have gotten it done in one day. Like, it's really very quick. So yeah, and really easy. I definitely think any knitter could take this on. If you've done any sort of increases or decreases before, I definitely think that you could take this on. And yeah, just really fun and quick. So it is using worsted weight yarn, DK worsted weight. I am using knitted and held double, but the colorways that I'm using are a little bit on the thin side, and they kind of like to draft themselves. So I would say this one is more like a DK weight is actually how the yarn is coming out. But yeah, so knitted and held double. So it is kind of, it is very squishy, but since it's US 9 needles, the gauge is quite open. So since I've been trying this on, of course on super hot days I won't be able to wear this, but I definitely think this could be a nice summer top. And of course you could always use different yarn. Of course you do not need to use knitted or a full wool yarn. I know that's probably sounding crazy to some people, wearing a entirely wool t-shirt in summer. But yeah, anyways, of course you can knit it out of any yarn you would like. And me being a person that is bad at naming things, I still don't have a name for this tee. So if you have any suggestions, put them down below. I would love to hear what you would call this. It was inspired by hydrangea flowers. I really loved, I love hydrangea flowers, and I wanted to kind of capture that in the little lace motifs throughout. So yeah, this one will be coming for test knitting sooner than the Primaveral sweater that I just showed you, but they'll be quite close together. So really happy with how this one is turning out, and I'll just readjust the top portion and then I think it'll be all good to go. So yeah, having a lot of fun with this one. Oh, and if you're curious about the colorways that I'm using knitted yarn, held double, in Fleeceline is the kind of white gray color, and Leave is the bluish orange, if you can tell. Oh my goodness, Leave is just such a magical color. Caroline, if you're listening, please make more of this kind of yarn. It's like orange and blue at the same time, like rusty orange and blue, just speckled throughout. Not really speckled, but like muddled. Gorgeous. I don't know how to say it, but it's gorgeous. Alrighty, and what is next? I guess we'll get into works in progress now. So I have another design, yet another design. Okay, so this is the Moreau sweater, a yoke pattern design that I am working on, and I am just so happy with how it's turning out. I finally finished the actual yoke, and now I'm working on just the stockinette body. One of my favorite parts. If you're not new around here, you may know it's one of my favorite parts. Just simple, relaxing knitting in the round. But I love the yoke work too. So stranded color work, 3 colors actually. So there are some points where you're using 3 colors in a row, but not very many points. But yes, so 3 colors. The main color is a Miss Babs yarn, and then the second color is a spin cycle dyed in the wool. It's Pick Your Poison, and then the third is again spin cycle dyed in the wool, and it is Bruised Ego, I believe. Pick Your Poison is kind of the blue tones throughout, and then Bruised Ego is the purple tones. So yeah, this one was inspired by Art Nouveau art that I had seen, some really beautiful illustrations and paintings, and I just loved all of the motifs. I really love the motifs of kind of Art Nouveau style. So yeah, that's how this one came about. And I had this yarn combination in mind, and I was just searching for like the perfect project for it to go into. I really loved like these really like emerald sort of, what is the word, jewel toned colors all together. And I don't have the balls of yarn with me because I finished the color work part, but just I love the fading yarn. I just think they're so much fun. So you could absolutely use your handspun as well for this if you have like a sport weight handspun, and yeah, just having a lot of fun with that one. Here's the back. And I also added some little details at the top kind of a swoop neck here so that it was lower in the front and higher on your shoulders. I think that's a really elegant kind of design and look. So just some little details that I added in as well. And yeah, so split for the sleeves, working, yeah, it's top down, of course. A really simple yoke sweater if you've done any sort of yoke sweater before. And yeah, I don't think I have much else to say on that one. This pattern will be coming a bit later. I think a month or so. I'll be calling for test knitters. I really want to knit another version of this yoke because I do notice that since I use the fading yarn and at some points there's really low contrast, I can see that it's hard to see the design, like what the actual motif is. So I kind of want to make another one and use Nutiden yarn, use a more woolly yarn. This is all superwash yarn, so I want to use more of a woolly yarn and just 3 solid colors, and then see how that changes and see like what the differences are, where you can actually see the contrast between all the different motifs going on. So yeah, just having a lot of fun with this one. Even the yoke was like almost TV knitting for me. So really love that pattern that's coming. And let's see, more works in progress. So I'll continue with knitting and then we'll get into crochet. So this is kind of also acquisitions a little bit. So Caroline of Nutiden Yarn, she so kindly recently asked all of the designers that work with Nutiden Yarn, she asked all of us if we would like to test out the August collection early. So she would send whatever of the colorways of the August collection, and then whatever colorways we would like to work with and design something with. She would send those out so that we could try them and share them and test them out much before the August collection actually comes out. So I think that was an awesome idea that, you know, you can see it knit up and see it being worked with. So maybe you have a better idea of what the yarn looks like and how it behaves before the collection even comes out. And if you are a Nutiden patron, I will give a little plug. She's also done some interviews with us and she's going to be posting those. So keep an eye out for that as well. But I will show you the colorway that I picked up. So the colorway that I chose is this here. And I really think my lighting today is not going to do it justice. This one is one that is very hard to photograph and get the colors, you know, kind of correct to life. But it's this really beautiful neutral sort of gray brown. I think it's probably looking really gray right now, but it's this really beautiful gray brown and it's got rust speckles all throughout it. So I think Caroline said that it is all gray Gotland wool, and then she also dyed like rusty tones on the Gotland and then mixed that in as well, or rather Canute dyed up some Gotland, and I just think it's so gorgeous. If you have, I think it's Schemed from February of this year, I think it was. This is kind of a darker version of that, like a deeper, darker version of that. It has the same sort of rusty gray qualities to it, but yeah, just really gorgeous. I actually prefer the feeling of this one actually better though, as like in contrast to Schemed. So this one has Gotland, so it is very silky and smooth. It's actually quite a soft blend, I think. And yeah, I don't know, I really loved working with it so far. I find it's actually a very sturdy base as well. There are some that is kind of hard to work with single-stranded if you want to do that. At least I find it sometimes hard to work with some of the colorways single-stranded, but this one I've been working with single-stranded and I haven't been having any issues. Even though it is silky and smooth, this one is kind of fluffy, so it kind of balances it out. I think it makes it a little stronger to work with. So yeah, I really hope the color is going to come up well enough, but maybe I'll also put in a photo if it's not really coming out well. But anyway, so I've been working on a new design using that colorway, and I had an idea in my head, and again was just looking for the perfect yarn for it, and I wanted to hold it with a strand of mohair, and I was really looking for something really deep and rich and just yummy and scrumptious sort of colorway feeling. So I started swatching, and I have settled on using a really deep navy with the, oh, let me tell you the colorway. It's called 2 negatives equals 1 positive, which Caroline didn't tell us what the names mean or like where she came up with the idea for the names, so I think that'll be fun to hear. But yes, so this colorway is called 2 negatives equals 1 positive. But yes, so I'm using, for my design, I'm going to be using 1 strand of that held with 1 strand of a deep navy mohair. So this is just solid dyed, oh my gosh, I'm totally forgetting, what is this from? Oh, good thing I put the ball band in my cake. That was smart of me. I wonder, do you do that? Do you keep your ball band in the middle of your cake so you remember what it is? Okay, so this is from Shibui. It's Shibui Silk Cloud is the yarn name. So it's 60% mohair and 60% mohair and 40% silk. It's very soft, very, very soft mohair. Not as fluffy because it's only 60%. Usually I work with 70% mohair, so it's more fluffy, but I really love the silkiness of this one. So started swatching in that. So here is what that swatch looks like. Again, I'm not sure how well it'll be coming up, but maybe I'll put in a photo. Really just deepens up the 2 negatives equals 1 positive. I really, really love how this swatch came out. Yeah, and I think it just works with the Gotland so well and just enhances the silkiness and the drape. So yeah, really excited about this fabric. So I've already cast on my design, and you can't really see much at this point, but it's going to be a sweater worked top down in the round, and I just have I have just finished the collar here at the top, and I'm working on some of the increases. So not really much to show right now, but it's going to be a cable sweater. Yeah, I don't know how well you can see this. There's some details and things. This one might be hard for me to show you because of how deep the color is. I'm noticing that it might be harder to see some of the details, but I'm just going with it anyway. I really want a deep colored cable knit sweater, and with the design that I have in mind, I really want to see how this is going to turn out. And of course, everyone can knit it in different colors. I think that, you know, generally cable designs and textured designs in general, they probably, if you want to see the design really well, you want it to show up very well, probably using a lighter yarn, a lighter colored yarn, it would make it show up better. But yeah, I was just like, you know what? No, we're gonna go deep for this one and see how that works. Because I think deep colored cables could be really scrumptious and beautiful. So yeah, not so much to show on that one for now, but I will be updating you, of course, on Instagram and on here when I have more progress. But yeah, having a lot of fun with it so far. And definitely, if you have had trouble with unspun yarn before, Nutiden or any other brand, if you're having trouble with it breaking on you, I would definitely recommend holding it with maybe a strand of mohair or Surrey alpaca or anything like that. It really helps to not have the unspun yarn break on you, because you do have that strand of silk or whatever it may be that is spun, probably, and that will add a lot of, you know, structure when you're knitting. So little tip there if you're having some troubles, because this is going to be 1 strand of Nutiden with 1 strand of silk mohair, so makes it a bit easier to work with rather than just 1 strand of the unspun. So I guess we'll get into crochet now. Yeah, let's get into crochet. So I'm still working on my pillow cover that I think I shared with you last time. So this was again inspired by Caroline from Knitted in Yarns. She had started on the Woolen Pine crochet sea glass tee, and I just thought it was so beautiful. Her version that she was crocheting, so gorgeous. So yes, I just really loved the texture of that pattern, and I had really never done crochet before that. I had tried it a little bit in high school. I think my grandmother taught me, but it didn't click as much with me as opposed to knitting. I really fell in love with knitting pretty much immediately, but I figured I would give crochet another try. So I cast this on. Obviously this is not a sweater, so I really wanted that particular texture in a pillow cover because we need some more pillow covers for our couch pillows, and I just thought that this would be really beautiful. So I've been continuing on with that, and the yarn that I'm using, the fading Knitted in yarn that I'm using. So I just cast on, I'm not using a pattern for the pillow shape. It's pretty simple, you're just crocheting in the round, but I just cast on, I crochet chained just one long chain for the bottom, very bottom edge here. Crochet chained in my main color, and then I just picked up all along it on both sides, and then I've just been working in the round since then, and it's really easy and mindless at this point. I'm actually really enjoying it. I think that the pattern is so much fun, and it actually makes crochet easier for me in a way, because like every other stitch is the other color. So I don't know, I think it makes it easier for me to see, because I think in the past I was having trouble with crochet because I couldn't see the difference between the different stitches, and having to like pick them up, re-pick them up over and over again with your crochet hook. I don't know, I was having trouble with it. So I'm actually having a lot of fun with this. I just pick it up whenever and crochet some stitches on it. Yeah, having a lot of fun. So maybe I can show you the details closer up. Just a super fun texture. And I was like, you definitely can't get that look with knitting, at least not that I know of. Not quite the same. So really cool. And I like how it's kind of turning diagonal, like the fabric is going. That wasn't intentional, it kind of just happened. So yeah, having a lot of fun with that. So I'm using, for this particular one, I'm using 2 colorways of Knitted in yarn, held single, each one just single. So the main color is Lucra, the kind of dark green, that's Lucra. And the fading colorway is Virvan, which this is how much I have left of this little plate. So you can kind of see the colors that it will next be. I'm on kind of a orangey, peachy color, and then it's going to go to like a minty green. But I'm not certain about the colors right now. Obviously, I don't think I'm gonna rip this out, but the green I wasn't expecting. Like this big patch of like really limey green. I don't know. I'm just kind of letting the yarn do its thing. I really love this bottom portion that's like really rusty, and I think that that's totally gorgeous. But you know, I'm kind of just letting it go. Yeah, we'll see how the whole thing turns out, and I will update you as we go. But I think this will be a great pillow cover. It is giving a really nice and dense fabric again, so I think it's really great for a pillow cover. I'm not actually sure how I would like this fabric as a sweater. Maybe my gauge is off. I really have no idea. I kind of just went with it. I am using 5mm hook, which I didn't even pay attention to the hook that it said in the pattern. This was the size of hook that Caroline was using, so I just wanted to use the same as that. It's probably what is being used in the pattern. But anyway, I didn't really pay attention to my gauge. I just cast on however big the pillow was that I'm going to be covering. Anyway, all that to say, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I will update you once it's finished. And I think now we'll get into spinning. So I finished another skein of Handspun that I'm going to be using for my friend's shifty sweater. So now we have 2 finished skeins, and I'm working on a third right here. So I really love how this one came out. It's not as variegated as the first one. The first one had so many colors to it. This one is kind of just deep blues and purples, which I think is really nice. So I really love how this one came out. Again, I I spun it to be a sport weight yarn, and it is a 2-ply. I wanted to make this yarn as similar to the spin cycle dyed in the wool as far as feeling and weight and thickness, since that is what is used in the original shifty sweater pattern by Andrea Mowry. So yeah, just really happy with how this one came out. This one again is pretty even. What is the word? Balanced. This yarn came out pretty balanced, which I'm very happy about. I think I'm getting better with my spinning technique and learning how to not overspin it, because I think I was overspinning when I was first starting out, first learning to spin. So yeah, really happy with how this one came out. And I think this fiber was 4 ounces because I actually do still have some of my singles on the bobbins. So this is my Lazy Kate that I use to spin my 2-ply yarns. I haven't done a 3-ply or anything else yet. I've only done 2-ply yarns. But yeah, this is the Lazy Kate that I use. So I'm gonna have to ply the rest of this fiber. And I just wanted to share a quick little tip. If you ever have one bobbin that still has fiber or still has a single on it and the other one doesn't, and you don't want to waste all of the singles, because I've had it before where, like, you know, maybe I have this much left and then the other bobbin is empty. So I usually, what I do, I will take the end of the yarn of the single from here, put it on here, and then just spin these both and kind of transfer it from one to the other until I kind of eyeball, you know, that they look about the same amount of singles on each one, and then I 2-ply those together. So I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it. I'm not sure if I'm messing up my twist at all by doing that, but it's worked for me so far, and that way I don't have any waste. Pretty much I don't have any waste at the end. Maybe like a tiny, very, very tiny little amount, but it's worked for me so far. So would recommend doing something like that if you ever have a bunch of 1 singles left over. You don't have to waste it all. If you do want it to be a 2-ply. Of course, if you want it to stay a single, then you don't have a problem. Anyway, so that, I still have some extras that I have to finish the 2-ply on that one. But this one, oops, my sweater fell. But this one is complete and blocked. Do you block yarn? It's been soaked and dried and washed. So yeah, it came out not very bouncy, but I like the amount of air in it. I think it's a good amount of air. It definitely does not feel like rope, which I have spun rope before. So yeah, I'm having a good deal with this one. So yeah, I think that's everything I have to say about that skein. And again, I'm working on a second one right here, working on the second single. So I also finished half of this braid already. So this is the first single ply that I'll be using for the 2-ply. And I just really love these colors. So this skein is more of oranges, kind of pinky beiges, and like mauvey colors. This really beautiful sort of deep mauve there at the top. I really love these colors. I think this is a beautiful braid. Maybe I can show you, oops. Maybe I can show you a bit of the fiber. So yeah, if you are participating in, if you're participating as well in Tour de Fleece, I would recommend checking out the Neighborhood Fiber Co. website. They have a lot of fiber, a lot of different fibers, and they tend to be in stock. And I think actually that if you want one of the particular colorways and they don't have it in stock, you can message them on Instagram, and I think they'll dye it up for you. So you can pretty much get any of the colorways that you would like. And I really love them. I've been purchasing from them since I started spinning. Not sponsored at all. I love their colorways, and their fiber is never too densely packed. It's lofty enough for me to work with that I don't have to really be tugging on it at all. It drafts very smoothly. Yeah, I think their colors are beautiful. So yeah, this is half of the 2-ply, and then I'll finish the second one, and then we'll have 3 skeins for the sweater, and then I'll have 3 more. So we're getting there. I am hoping, so my plans for Tour de Fleece, what I'm going to spin, I'm hoping to finish all of the yarns, all of the spins that I need to do for the Shifty sweater. So I'll finish up this one and then do 3 more. And then I'm also going to I have a lot of fiber in my stash now at this point. So I'm going to be trying to get through some of that. And I don't have particular plans for them. Maybe I'll make some socks or what have you, some hats or something maybe with some color work. Who knows, but I just want to see what the fiber turns into when it's all spun up and into a skein. So I'll probably be making all 2-plies because I think I just prefer how that looks. I really love the look of a 2-ply, except for if I'm going to be making socks. If I'm going to be making socks, then I'm going to be doing some more research on how to make a more balanced yarn and a more stronger yarn for that, because I do want to be able to have socks not fall apart in 5 minutes of wearing them. So those are kind of my plans for Tour de Fleece. And I have also joined a team. This is all very new to me. I've never actually officially joined Tour de Fleece. Last summer was my first year doing spinning, handspun yarn, and I didn't really join Tour de Fleece. I was just kind of getting started and was just learning, just starting out. And so this year though, some people on Instagram, Young Folk Knits, Kaci of Young Folk Knits, and a few other knitters there on Instagram, they started a team for, Tour de Fleece. And I guess the idea is that you spin as much as you can during the time that the Tour de France is going on during July, and then you add up all of your yardage between the whole team. You add up all of your yardage, and then that's like your total amount that you've spun for the whole month. So I don't know, I think it's kind of cute. So I've joined their team, and some other knitters and spinners have also joined their team. So I think it's open to everyone if you would also like to join in as well. I think it's just kind of a fun thing. We're definitely not going way into it. I think we're not going to be spinning 24 hours a day type of thing. It's kind of it's really simple and open to however much or little you want to spin. It's just very easy. So low pressure team here. That's the idea. That's what I can do. So yeah, I'm just excited to see what everyone spins and what everyone knits with that. I think it'll be a really exciting event sort of activity. So yeah, if you would like to join that, I will have Kaci linked down below. You can message her, and if you would like to join as well. I think it's open to everyone. Yeah, but I have one more acquisition before we go today. I have one more acquisition to share with you. Recently, Artifacts of Appreciation, which is Lindsay is the fiber artist behind Artifacts of Appreciation. She had a shop update, and she was so kind. She had a shop update a few months ago, and I was too late. Her fibers go so quickly. They're just gorgeous. And I wasn't able to get to it on time. So all of her fibers were already gone. So I messaged her. I was like, I'm so sad I missed out on it. I can't wait for the next shop update. And she was so kind to kind of make a bat for me. She kind of made a bat in what she thinks are my sort of colors that she sees that I use and that I love, and she got it exactly right. So thank you so much, Lindsay. I don't know if you're watching this, but thank you so much if you are. I really, really love this bat. I think it is gorgeous, and I haven't spun it up yet. I've had this for a few weeks now, but I haven't spun it up yet just because I'm not sure what I want to make with it yet. And I want to, like, this is so special. I really want to, like, do as best as I can with it. I want to make sure I have, you know, the best spin that I can, and I don't want to mess it up. I think this fiber is so beautiful. So Lindsay of Artifacts of Appreciation, she hand cards all these bats on her carder and just blends different fibers from different dyers and things and different farms, and she just makes beautiful, beautiful fibers. So this is the first one that I've gotten from her. I will definitely be repurchasing more in the future, but yeah, her shop updates go really quickly, just letting you know. You gotta be there on time and know what you want. But yeah, so she did this bat for me, so I'll just try to show it up close so you can see the colors. It's really deep purples, a lot of different types of deep purples, and also golds, and I think there's some silk in there as well, so it's really beautifully blended. I've seen some bats before where it doesn't look as blended, and this is beautifully blended without it getting muddy, or like, you can still see the different fibers, but I can just tell the spin is going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful to work with. So hopefully I can unfurl this a bit so I can show you more of the colors without totally messing it up. But look how big this bat is, like how wide this bat is. I mean, my goodness. So hopefully you can see the colors there. It's just, oh my gosh. So it looks beautiful, right? But then it also feels like a cloud, like literally a cloud. This is like the softest fiber that I've ever felt, maybe. It seems like I say that often, but really, this is like the softest thing. It's so airy and light. This is 100 grams, but I mean, I can just like, you see how much air is in this? It's just amazing. So I'm so excited to spin with this. But yeah, I want to make sure I get it right. And I haven't decided exactly what I want to do with it, so I'm not sure yet. So yes, I would highly recommend, if you are a spinner or even looking to try out spinning, I would highly recommend taking a look at Artifacts of Appreciation, her Instagram account, and seeing when her next shop update is. If you're participating in Tour de Fleece, maybe you can pick up some of her bats to try. So I think that's finally everything. I think that's everything I have to share with you today. So thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Maybe you found some inspiration or things you would like to knit, spin, crochet, try out. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day and lovely rest of your week. And if you're starting Tour de Fleece, I hope it goes well. I hope you have fun. And yeah, I'll see you next time.